Speed, pace, momentum, velocity. Our world is increasingly fast and our culture is immediate. Everything moves quickly. Moving your money shouldn't be any different. With Gravity, you can buy and sell Bitcoin instantly. We're building the Bitcoin bank of the future today.
Hello and welcome to another episode of CryptoTime. My name's James Coughlan and I'm joined with my usual co-host, Antonio Shillingford. How are you today, mate?
I'm doing rather fine. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good. I'm actually very excited to see that we have a very big event coming up soon. Do you want to fill in the listeners as to what that event is?
Yes, so we have CoinGeek London, which is meant to be one of the biggest coin geeks that we've seen thus far.
Yeah, and that's always exciting because historically it's always been very, very interesting to see all of the information that comes out from these events. We've seen fantastic upgrades to the network, and it's going to be great to see what potential is going to be there now the upgrades have been made. Now, I know there's going to be people talking around that, which is going to be exciting to see. So without further ado, let's kick straight into this episode. Let's find out exactly who's going to be speaking at the CoinGeek event and what to look out for during this event itself. So having a look obviously at the lineup, we've got some big heavyweights there, including obviously our CEO, Bitstocks, Michael Hudson, which is fantastic to see. We've got Dr. Craig Wright, we've got Jimmy Nguyen, we've got Alex, which is obviously from the Handcash team, and many, many more. Now, one of the ones that I found very, very interesting indeed was around the Swiss bank. Now, there's going to be something around Swiss banking, which is going to be at this event. Now, it doesn't mean to say by any means that people can jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, fantastic, there's going to be a bank that's out in Switzerland that potentially is going to be adopting BSV or going to be using BSV's basically protocol to build on top of. But it's real encouraging to see the industries that were very much pushing against cryptocurrencies at one point, not only now talking out about cryptocurrencies, but actually talking at major events around them as well to see how they can benefit using these services or how customers could benefit using these services going forward, which I find very interesting indeed.
Yeah, and if you, for example, just CoinGeek in general, it is just strictly BSV focused. So we're not talking about other cryptocurrencies. This particular event is mainly focusing on utilities within this space. So all of these different applications like Handcash, like Gravity, taking cryptocurrencies to the mainstream. That is what this particular event is all really about. And to see quite large names be included in the speakers list is very, very refreshing, because now we know that a lot of the people within nChain, because of course nChain is the development team that effectively is building out BSV. Now, we know that them as a company, they have been talking to governments. They've been in these sort of conversations. And of course, seeing names like this on the list is a result of that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Craig has never been, obviously Craig Wright, who we believe to be Satoshi Nakamoto, has never very much been one of these people that's so interested in terms of the price of what coins are. It's about, for him, what it can do for the world and what utility it can provide, and in a transparent form that we've never had before. The guy is, extremely wealthy guy outside of cryptocurrencies as well as with them. The concern for him, in my personal opinion, can't be that he just needs to amass more and more wealth. I think it's more of a case now that it needs to change something and do something. So when you touched on there about how Craig and nChain have obviously been in long discussions with different governments and regulating parties across the world, it's been fantastic to see. And that's not just for developed countries such as ourselves, that's also out in Africa and places like that, where there are places which are desperately poor that need obviously utility and services around banking, which they don't have at this moment in time. Now, we're not saying that BSV is 100% the answer to every problem that's out there, because it certainly isn't, but it's definitely steps towards it. And this is the thing that I find very, very encouraging about the BSV camp as a whole, is that we're now starting to see them go out there, look for these opportunities, and actually see how they can really help people, rather than it just be a case of how they can monetary gain from everything that's out there.
Yeah, and if, for example, pinpoint countries in Africa, for example, resources extremely rich. They just have corrupt governments that are getting exploited from other countries pretty much. And the thing is, with blockchain technology, all it really is shedding light on things. So keeping honest systems completely honest on a completely immutable chain that records all forms of transactions forever. So, for example, nations in Africa, it will allow them to keep their riches. And if people are taking are taking advantage and exploiting them, that evidence is there forever, meaning that they can be called into action at a later date.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I think that that's also looking at it on a high profile level, take it to the low profile level. Now, these smaller individuals that are out there in terms of their monetary weight and power can now hold accountable people at the top of the chain, which may have not been trustworthy in the past. This is no kind of surprise. Underdeveloped countries have problems with corruption, and that isn't something which people shy away from. We know these systems exist and we know these problems exist, but who really gets hurt from this? It's the smaller end of the scale rather than the larger end of the scale. And it's nice to give those people back the power so that they actually know what's happening with their money. They know what's going on. And I think this has been something that they've needed for a long, long time. It's not something that's been, readily available and possible for a long time in the cryptocurrency world. And I still have skepticisms around it, as I've said on many occasions within this podcast. The volatile price point has made that difficult. However, BSV have options like Alma Gold now, which offer a stable price point linked to gold off the back of it, which gives these people another option. Again, I'm not saying it's the guiding light, the North Star in the distance. What I am saying though is that it is a great opportunity for them to have more clarity than what they previously had. So I think that all of this work that's been done and all of these people that are going to be speaking obviously at the event are just going to be further explaining and educating the community as to how they're going to help that mission forward. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not all about helping people. There are real world businesses that are there to make a profit as well. And providing they obviously give a service that makes sense and the people want to use it, then that's brilliant as well, because we'll see more and more of that utility built around it. So that's exciting to see.
And of course, with all the work that nChain's been doing, the promise that they gave is that they're going to be locking down the protocol. And that's exactly what they have done. They've locked down the protocol and enabled unbounded scaling. Now, as a result of that, you have the CoinGeek event, which the CoinGeek event is the byproduct of all of these different people within the planet, really and truly, building different cool projects, different utilities to really take this mainstream. So nChain are playing their role on locking down the protocol, making sure the foundations are forever stable. And now it's just up to the community to build all the rest.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool about that is nChain are the people that have locked down that side of things. But what's been done by the CoinGeek team is really cool as well. They've created a platform in which we can hear everything that's going on. We know these events aren't cheap to run. We know that it's, something that they're dipping deeply into their pockets to obviously supply to obviously the people in the community, so that people can actually hear what's going on, can understand what's going on. And I think this is a really, really cool way to ensure that the world understands. And they don't just stop obviously at London. As we said, historically, they've had quite a few events now. We've had Canada and we've had other locations, which have been really, really good in terms of actually raising awareness around BSV. It's gone away from this whole thing of people just trying to battle and argue about what's going on. And it's coming more to the opinion that we've always had around this space is, look, let's just see which coin is the king in the long run. Who gives the best utility? Who gives the best options in relation to cryptocurrencies is who is going to win this race in the end. It comes down to who's the cheapest, who's the fastest, who can have that foundationary level that we can build on top of. These are all things that weren't possible before, and we're now starting to see. I'm not going to badmouth Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash right now. All I'm going to turn around and say is, what are they doing to compete against that? The king will win, and that is the major point.
And to put it short and sweet, pretty much what we're saying is CoinGeek, so the 20th to the 21st is going to be an amazing event, as they literally always are. And very, very, very confident it's going to be in combination with another amazing party, just like every single one of them actually are. And we're doing some cool stuff as well. So whether you'd like to run people through that.
Yeah, so really interesting. Obviously, Bitstocks have been making a nice little enter into the esports space. With this, we've decided to give away a fantastic gaming rig. Now, if you are interested or not really heard around this kind of thing of what the driving rigs actually are and what they look like, we've got some fantastic content on Cars and Crypto YouTube channel, which will help explain that a little bit. But on the day, what's going to be possible is people are going to be able to come down, set lap times. The person who wins the fastest lap time simply will walk away with the rig itself, which I think is going to be a really cool thing.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some VR as well.
Yeah, so there'll be a little bit of VR. There won't be a competition around that, but there will be some VR where people will be able to try out those games and see what they're like as well. We're also going to have Yanni from Yanimize down as well, which is obviously a massive, massive actor in the car wrapping space, which is cool to see as well.
And for a long time, I thought VR was pretty much a bit of a gimmick and it just needed some time. but the VR, well, let's call them headsets that are out there at the moment, they are unreal, where it's pretty much getting to the stage of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
So head over to the CoinGeek website, grab your tickets, and the next episode of CryptoTime, we're actually going to talk a little bit more detail, but not give away too much about what we're actually going to be presenting at the event itself.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be some huge announcements that happen.
Yeah, there's going to be some huge announcements. If you have been following Bitstocks story for quite some time now, you'll realize that we've been leaving little breadcrumbs behind to give clues as to what exactly we are doing here at Bitstocks on top of the linear that you see from the normal. And yeah, we're very excited to obviously get everyone's opinion on this. We'll give a little bit more insight on the next episode. But as always, guys, I think this is a nice place to end this episode. So thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying the content that's coming from Bitstocks TV at the moment, please hit that like, subscribe and notification button so you can always see the latest and greatest from Bitstocks. If you have some comments, we'd love to hear what you have to say about the CoinGeek event that's upcoming. It's always interesting to see everyone's opinion. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.